Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. The other day, Ice Cube was honored by having his hands and feet cemented in front of the TCL Chinese Theater, formerly known as Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. Now, just in case you didn't know, leaving your prints in front of the theater is a huge honor because it's one of the most iconic and exclusive traditions in the entertainment industry. In other words, it literally cements your legacy in Hollywood. Unlike awards that you can take home, this is a public tribute that fans around the world can come visit forever, and fewer than 300 celebrities have ever been honored this way since the tradition started in 1927, which is far fewer than the 2,700 celebrities which have been given stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You guys ready?
Okay, come on with me.
No, hey, just the two. Just the two.
No, y'all know I had to bring the chucks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Everybody in the neighborhood. They might be.
All right.
When you told me about today, you asked me if I would do a speech. And with no hesitation, I said yes. Because it was yet another chance for me to tell the world how much I love you. Another opportunity to make you proud. And there is no better feeling than knowing you and our mother are proud of us. Thank you for everything you've done and continue to do for us and the world. Your handprint has been on this city for decades. It's only right that it is cemented forever.
Thank you for everybody that showed up to hear a young dude from South Central Los Angeles get a chance to express how much I'm appreciative and I'm living the dream. We got some great things coming, especially last Friday. That's coming too. Stop asking me about it. It's coming. We signed the paperwork. I'm the person Chuck Taylor's in the concrete. Yeah. It's only right. Yeah, baby, they right there.
There you are. Perfect.
Everybody right up front.
Listen, that's dope, and I'm very happy for Ice Cube, because when you really think about it, Ice Cube started off as a gangster rapper, which means it could have went left. I mean, for real, do you understand that we could have been on here today talking about Ice Cube the same way that we talk about Julio Fulio, and we could have been reporting to you that he got pow in the middle of the street, but instead, at some point, Ice Cube realized that this is a business and I gotta become a businessman. And as a result of his life choices, Ice Cube has gone from being one of Compton's most wanted to becoming one of Hollywood's most honored. So once again, shout out to Ice Cube. And while we're speaking about honors, somebody on social media took the time to post what they believed was the Mount Rushmore of R&B. And on their Mount Rushmore, they included Michael Jackson, Neo, Usher, and Chris Brown. Now, after they posted their top 4 R&B singers of all time, a whole lot of people came in the comment section and were like, yo, are you kidding me? Where in the world is R. Kelly? How dare you put Neo up there before you put the Kels? For example, one person was like, Neo over R. Kelly? Go to hell. And then somebody else was like, there could have been space for 1001 faces and Neo still shouldn't have been on there. And then somebody else was like, Neo must have made this. And then after that, somebody else came through and was like, Neo valid, but not Mount Rushmore worthy. Listen, let me tell you something. Aside from the fact that I can think of 2,002 people that should be up there before Neo, this whole thing is invalid to me because where in the world is Prince? How are you not going to have Prince Rogers Nelson up there on the top 4 R&B artists of all time? See, I don't care whether or not R. Kelly is up there because, for me, once you become a predator, you get disqualified. However, the fact that you don't have Prince up there is absolutely nuts. Listen, let me know down below. In your opinion, who are the top 4 greatest male R&B singers of all time, and who's going on your Mount Rushmore? Let me know in the comments, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I mean, for real, even the elderly home knows that Prince is one of the go-tos. Yo, I need to know, who is the administrator who works at that elderly home who was sitting in a meeting and was like, yo, you know what? We need to bring in this Prince impersonator. Anyhow, the people over there look like they're having a whole lot of fun, so kudos to that person. Now, the other day, Tracee Ellis Ross did an interview with Michelle Obama and her brother on their new YouTube channel. And while she was over there, she was talking about the fact that sometimes she experiences some grief around not having kids and a partner at the age of 52. Check out what Tracee Ellis Ross had to say.
And you know, as much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to hear.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, you know, I'm in a relationship to be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done, and I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know, sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind. And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again.
I'm sorry.
No,
Craig.
I was going to say, it's a generational thing. So it didn't matter how you met them, or is it just
I'm
kind of the guys you're meeting?
That's obviously
too big of a generalization.
It's a generalization, but because I have dated men my age, there is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as basic as that. That there's times where I'll be, sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what did you just say?
Yeah, what century are you?
Like, oh my God.
Where's your horse and buggy?
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry.
And your bedpan.
Yeah, for real.
Chamber pot.
Yeah, your chamber pot. Your chamber pot. Like, where I'm just like, this is not a match. And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or grow them up.
Interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you agree with Tracee Ellis Ross when she says that a lot of men her age, which would be men born in the early 70s to mid 70s, exude a toxic masculinity which is way too rigid and inflexible with regard to gender roles, norms, and traditions? However, in her experience, younger men are more flexible in their relationships because they're less controlling. Also, let me know what you think about Tracee Ellis Ross saying that part of the reason why she's still single at the big old age of 52 is because she don't have time to be growing no grown man up. Now, interestingly enough, Boosie Badazz may have also offered another explanation as to why a whole lot of women like Tracee who are over 50 are out here living single. Boosie believes that there's an influx of good black men migrating to white women, and Boosie wants to know why. When discussing the topic, Boosie wrote, "Why do so many successful black men date white women? Do y'all role models date white women? Were y'all raised to like white women? What white women do that black women don't do? I've been meaning to for a minute now. What's wrong with the black women?" Alright, so some of y'all are gonna get mad when I say this, but I have a friend who has a theory as to why a whole lot of black men are migrating to white women. And please, understand, this is not my theory. This is someone else's theory that I'm sharing with you. My friend believes that it has nothing to do with attitude, it has nothing to do with how they carry themselves, it has nothing to do with the fact that some people say that they argue less. My friend believes that most black men who date white women would never have crossed over in the first place if black women had naturally straight long hair. Now, just so we're clear, she argues that the length and the texture cannot come through extensions or a weave. It has to come straight from the root. And she says that if black women had the same hair texture and the length that a lot of white women and Indian women have, black men wouldn't even look twice at white women. Because according to her, ever since slavery, black men have been indoctrinated by white standards and taught to prefer Eurocentric beauty standards over Afrocentric standards. Therefore, they've been subconsciously conditioned to equate beauty, desirability, and femininity with long, straight, or wavy hair. Thus, according to her, it's the hair. And she says that if every woman was born with the same hair texture, meaning everybody had the wet and wavy or the Hawaiian silky and it was natural, you wouldn't see as many black men crossing a border to date white women. Listen, let me know down below. What do you think about Boosie asking a question, why is it that so many successful black men race to white women? And also, let me know what you think about my friend's theory when she says that a lot of this great migration of black men going over to white women has to do with the length and the texture of the hair. And please, ladies, do me a favor. Now that you've heard that theory, do not go out and start being like B. Simone's friend, Brooklyn Frost, putting minoxidil on your edges.
Your edges look so nice.
For real.
I swear. I'm not even being funny.
They look a little thick.
They look thick. They look thick.
You know what I've been using?
Wait.
The Moxidil. What's that?
No. What? Don't use that.
Why?
Girl, you gonna get hair everywhere. You about to get a goatee, ho. You about to get a mustache. Oh, for some baby hair? All right now. Now when I see you next week, you're gonna be in the barbershop. Come on. Oh, here's the instructions. Okay.
Oh. That's hilarious. She told that girl she was gonna have a mustache. Anyhow, here's the thing. Ladies, when you use things like minoxidil on your hair, do you not know that once you stop using that product, all of the hair that you grew is eventually gonna fall out? When it comes to those products, those aren't things that you can just start and then stop. Those are things that once you start them, you can't stop. But once again, a whole lot of people out here trying to adhere to European beauty standards, and now you got a whole lot of black girls running around with no edges. Now, since we brought up Europe, let's discuss the Catholic Church. The other day, the Catholic Church announced that they're getting ready to canonize their first millennial social media influencer Catholic saint.
It's official. A teenager known as God's influencer will become the Catholic Church's first millennial saint. Carlo Acutis, who died from leukemia at 15 years old in 2006, was known for using his computing skills to spread awareness of the Catholic faith. He also set up a website that documented miracles. And to become a saint, a person has to have 2 miracles attributed to them. His first miracle was in 2020 when a Brazilian boy with a pancreatic birth defect healed after his mother prayed to Acutis. The second was in 2022 when a mother says she prayed at Acutis' tomb and her daughter recovered from a severe brain injury doctors didn't think that she would survive. A date has not yet been set for the canonization ceremony. However, the Vatican says it will likely be during the 2025 Jubilee celebrations.
Okay, so as you know, I'm not Catholic, but I want to know from all the Catholics out there, and also everybody who's a Christian, what do you think about this? Do you believe that this is legit? Is Carlos Acutis over there performing miracles? Or do you think that the Pope had a meeting in which he was sitting there and he was like, look, we got to get some of these millennials back to church? And they're like, what do you want to do? They're like, listen, we're going to need a social media saint. And speaking about being canonized into the annals of hip-hop history, we all know that Lil Wayne felt like he was igged when the NFL chose Kendrick Lamar to perform at the halftime show in Lil Wayne's hometown. At first, Lil Wayne was mad hurt because he was like, oh my goodness, doing the Super Bowl was a lifelong dream of mine, and to do it in Louisiana would have been one of my greatest accomplishments. Well now, Lil Wayne done switched it up because he's like, listen, I would never do a Super Bowl because as far as I'm concerned, they ruined it for me. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Lil Wayne said, they stole that feeling, so I don't want to do it. It was perfect. Let me tell you something. Telling someone that you would never ever come over to their house 10 minutes after they told you that they would never ever invite you to their house is like, it really doesn't make a difference. Anyhow, instead of me giving you some commentary on this, let me share what Orlando Brown would say.
A lot of people are upset right now that Kendrick Lamar is performing over Lil Wayne because the Super Bowl is actually in New Orleans this year, and you know.
That's what we supposed to do? I'm about to make the
Yeah, I think that me and Orlando Brown are pretty much on the same page when it comes to our opinion on this situation. Alright, so peep this. As you know, the White House has come under fire after unlawfully deporting a Maryland man named Abrigio Garcia and refusing to facilitate his return from El Salvador, even after the Supreme Court unanimously decided that they needed to facilitate his return. Trump's administration claims that Garcia is a dangerous criminal who they had the right to deport, and as proof, they argue that they know for a fact that he was a member of MS-13 because an anonymous informant told them that they were able to identify Garcia as a dangerous gang member based on the clothing that he was wearing. According to the court documents, the informant said that Garcia was definitely a member of MS-13 based on the fact that he was wearing a Chicago's Bulls hat and a hoodie with rolls of money covering the eyes, ears, and mouth of the presidents on separate denominations. The administration then went on to say that officers know that such clothing is indicative of gang culture in New York. Okay, so 1, the court's already determined that Abrigio never went to New York or lived in New York. So, what gangs are doing in New York have absolutely nothing to do with this dude. And 2, you cannot confirm that somebody's a member of a gang based on what they're wearing. And the fact that this dude is from the DMV area, you know what his outfit tells me? His outfit tells me that he was probably shopping at Snipes, Marshalls, DTLR, Foot Locker, Champs Sporting Goods, Ross's, or Burlington. Because you know darn well that on any given day, each one of those stores stays having the t-shirts on the racks with the presidents with the money rolls on it for like $7.99. So what the government is essentially saying to me is that if you go to Snipes and you buy one of those t-shirts with the president with the money on it, and then you just so happen to be wearing a Chicago Bulls baseball cap to match the Jordan 1 bread toes that you just bought, you too are at risk of getting deported because that outfit is proof positive that you're a member of MS-13. Oh, please, the government's just getting ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. But what I will tell you is this. You might want to lay off buying those Benjamin Franklin Dead President Hustle Hard Bedazzled t-shirts with the glitter on it. You know the ones I'm talking about. You might want to lay off buying those for a minute because according to Donald Trump and them, that is evidence that you're a gang member who's a member of MS-13. And oh, please, don't even let me get started on the Chicago Bulls hat. I mean, really, do you know how many Chicago Bulls baseball caps I have had over the years? Anyhow, speaking of the NBA, as you know, LeBron James and the Lakers have made it all the way to the NBA playoffs once again. And if LeBron James' son Bronny is added to the roster, this year just might be history in the making, which is making Laker fans go wild. So wild, in fact, that one fan made this AI video just to rub it in the face of all the naysayers who were out there like Bronny's trash, Bronny's trash. He made this video just to rub in the fact that LeBron James and his son just might end the season with matching championship rings.
Come on, big man, I'm begging you, lay a hand on me, you kill. He's double A, he's the enforcer, and I'm the nature boy. Woo!
You talk about survivors. You're talking about us.
You're talking about perfect. You're talking about machismo.
Okay, I had to play that just because that's hilarious. Anyhow, the diddler is back in the news. So you remember how about a month ago, a man named Joseph Manzano filed a lawsuit against Diddy claiming that Diddy kidnapped him, then smuggled him into Gloria Estefan's house through a secret tunnel, and when he got to Gloria's house, he saw LeBron James walking around in a bath towel before being brought to an area where Diddy was throwing a birthday party for one of his sons, where Manzano claims that Diddy forced him to perform lewd sexual acts in front of the party guests, which included Beyonce and Jay-Z. Well, Joseph Manzano has now amended his lawsuit and submitted a new version to the court, which now removes all references to Beyonce and Jay-Z, including all of the references that Manzano claimed that Beyonce made to him during the party. Listen, y'all know I'm not a Diddy fan, but I gotta be honest. I noticed something very interesting when Tyrone Blackburn and then Tony Busby started dropping their lawsuits, and this did not hold true to the lawsuits that happened before this, but it started happening with Blackburn and Busby. What I noticed is this: a lot of their clients, once they drop their initial claim and then social media gets a hold of that claim and starts to debunk some of the things that they said in their lawsuits, all of a sudden, they going back with the pen and editing what they're saying. And to me, that's mad sus. And I'm gonna tell you why. You go to your attorney, you say, I was assaulted. He asks you what happened. You sit down and you tell him all of the events of that night. And you say specifically that Beyonce and Jay-Z were there. And Beyonce was saying XYZ and she said this and she said that. And you know for sure because this definitely happened. So then the claim goes public and social media gets their hands on it. And a whole lot of people are like, nah, this couldn't have happened because Jay-Z wasn't there. As a matter of fact, Jay-Z was over here. And then all of a sudden, you go back to your attorney and you're like, wait a minute. On second thought, and all of a sudden now, you're over there tweaking that lawsuit. Yeah, to me, that's a little problematic, but I want to hear what y'all think. Do you believe that all of these revisions and tweaking of all of these lawsuits is a little problematic? Especially when in one version, Beyonce's there, and then in the next version, Beyonce's not. Listen, let me know what you think about this and everything else that we discussed in today's video. And while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.